Welcome on in, fellow weebs and otakus. This is another interesting video idea that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Well, you can already pretty much realize from the title what we're going to be talking about today, and that is 4 different manga series that were apparently abandoned by a sudden illness from the author or the mangaka, if you guys want to really, use the right term. Some of them are more underrated than the others, but all 4 of them share one thing, and that's pretty much they were never finished. They never got to see the light of day, I feel bad for fans, for these type of manga series that they're following it so closely, they're waiting for the finish, the finale, and it never happens, It's just very sad to see. Now, the first manga that I do want to cover is one of my favorites in terms of having it in my collection. It is pretty, it has a lot of fan service. And I'm sure that most of you are pretty familiar with it, so I wouldn't really classify it as underrated. But that manga is High School of the Dead. Now, I never actually knew about this, even before I bought the manga. I, in fact, just happened to pick up the super deluxe edition, the colored edition, the colored deluxe edition hardcover greatness. That is High School of the Dead. That was one of my first manga that I got in full color, and man, it looked freaking amazing. I don't even know that manga came in colored editions. I didn't know about this. This was a new concept to me back I think I got it 5 years ago, maybe 2017, 2016. It's pretty sad that I actually bought these colored editions in 2017, and the reason I say that is that was basically the same time that the author passed away, the author being Daisuke Sato. Now, they might have actually predicted this already, that this might happen in the future, as Daisuke Sato was actually he initially became sick in 2008. So you guys realize that this man has been going through health complications for pretty much almost a decade until he passed. Ever since he got sick in 2008, it became quite a hurdle for him to work on the manga and try to get it finished. Unfortunately, since he passed in 2017, the manga was left unfinished. Now, after Daisuke Sato's passing, the illustrator Shoji Sato, who in fact is not his brother, they have the same last names, but I see this common mistake that people make, assuming that Daisuke Sato and Shoji Sato are both brothers, which is not true. But I digress. At any rate, after Daisuke Sato's passing in 2017, Shoji Sato, who is the illustrator of High School of the Dead, made the decision to leave the series unfinished, which in my opinion was the best decision to make, and instead he was going to focus on his series, which is Triage X. In terms of my personal comments or opinions about this tragedy that happened to Daisuke Sato, it is sad to see this personally, because I actually was reading the full color editions, and if you guys own the full color editions and you've read through it, you will notice that there are some pages with interviews with the author, and a lot of these interviews that they had in these books, they cover the time he spent in the hospital ever since he got sick in 2008. So reading those interviews now, you can just tell, in the interviews, because he mentions that he's grateful that he's able to, he's gonna get discharged from the hospital, he can go back to working on manga. Yeah, it's just sad to see, because the guy wanted to continue working on the manga, and he's been experiencing these health complications for this long. That's pretty much it for High School of the Dead. Once again, the manga spans 7 volumes. The full color editions has 2 full color volumes. There was never a third one. I believe the third one was planned, but there's just not enough content for a third deluxe edition to be made. The second manga on the series, which some might find is slightly underrated, although it is very old now, and that series is Nana. A quick little fun fact, Nana is actually the number 7 in Japanese. I don't know what that has to do with this manga, but just something I wanted to point out. Now, Nana actually debuted back in 2000, almost in the 90s. It's a pretty old anime, or a manga I should be saying. The anime came out later in 2005, which is what I watched. I never actually read the manga. So the original run spans from 2000 to 2009. Unfortunately, in 2009, the author, Ai Yazawa, experienced health complications and she fell sick. Unfortunately, this lasted quite a few years. The manga was put on hiatus in 2009, but it never ever came back out of hiatus. It just stayed on hiatus. On a more positive note, the author for Nana, the mangaka Ai Yazawa, actually recovered, and even to this day she is healthy and doing well, but she never returned to Nana. Nana stayed on hiatus indefinitely. Even to this day, if you go online and you research the manga for Nana, it'll still say that it's on hiatus. It's kind of sad to see because although it says it's on hiatus, we know for a fact it's not coming back. There has been no real comment made by the author herself. She had no comment to say. Now, in this case, I wouldn't really blame the author. When it comes to manga and mangakas, they spend a lot of time working on their manga. We know this for a fact. Even the author for One Piece, he's been experiencing health complications for a long time. I mean, he basically works on One Piece all day, and he said in an interview that he only sleeps about 3 to 4 hours, and this has taken a huge toll on his health. This is a common occurrence that's happening in the manga industry with mangakas, and it's very scary to see this. So I don't blame Ai Yazawa for not returning back to Nana. It's better to have an author that's alive and well and healthy instead of her overworking herself and possibly losing her life. Nonetheless, it is sad to see, for fans of the series, that Nana is on indefinite hiatus. You can even see it on the Wikipedia page. Nothing has changed since 2009, and most likely things will stay this way. On to number 3, which is, I believe, pretty underrated manga and anime. I actually watched the anime back in the day. This was like early 2000s. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot back then. I was a child, I was a kid. It was, it had that magical element to it. Back when we didn't really see a lot of isekais back then. This was like before 2010. What is this manga that I speak of? It is Zero no Sakaima, or in other words, the familiar of Zero. Now, the author of this manga unfortunately passed away in 2011 due to advanced stage cancer in that same year, so it was pretty much too late. It's very, very unfortunate, especially because the series only ran, I believe, for about 3 years. The manga's original run was from 2006 to 2009. But this is an interesting case because the familiar of Zero was actually finished.
Wait, what?
It was initially left unfinished, but another author took it upon himself to finish the series. Now, the original author, Nobara Yamaguchi, actually left notes for the finish of the series. It was only thanks to these notes that were left behind that they were able to finish the series. Granted, the series was actually pretty much near completion. There was 1 or 2 volumes left, so they were able to finish those last 2 volumes and finish the manga. It is refreshing to see that they were able to finish the series, although maybe it's not 100% what the original author envisioned. Of course, there's going to be mixed comments and reactions to this because some people would prefer that the series remain unfinished because, of course, the original author is no more. Imagine you create something that you worked on for many years, and you happen to pass away and it's left unfinished. And then somebody else takes it upon themselves to finish it. And this could drastically affect the series, because the ending could just end up being not good, not something that the original author wanted at all. And this would in turn end up being a sort of disrespect or an insult to the original author. Now, I haven't really read the manga itself. Like I said, I've seen the anime, so I can't really have a personal opinion on this. Moving on to the final on the list, the 4th one. And I left the best for last. Now, this is most likely a manga that everyone is familiar with. It's huge, it's huge, it's genre defining. It's left a giant impact. No matter what words I use, it's not enough to describe how big this manga is. And that manga is BERSERK. BERSERK. By Kentaro Miura. Now, I'm ashamed to say that I haven't actually read the complete manga. I have watched the anime, but that is unfinished. This was way back in the day, but I do want to pick up the manga again and go through it. But I digress. Again, I'm going off topic. The author or the mangaka for this particular manga passed away in 2021. Now, of course, after the author's death, the manga was put on hiatus for about roughly a year, and it continued publication in June 2022. The reins were passed on to Kentaro Miura's best friend, childhood friend, and fellow manga artist Koji Mori. So that being said, The manga is still ongoing. It was left unfinished, by the original author, but they did decide to continue it. But like I mentioned, this manga is huge, and when the author passed, this was all over the news, the manga, anime, news sites. I saw it everywhere. As of September 2023, there was actually 60 billion copies of this manga sold, making it one of the greatest all-time selling manga series. That is a huge accomplishment, especially after his passing, that the manga series sold this much. The series is still going on. I'm not really sure when it's going to wrap up, but it's still running. It's not dead. It's not abandoned. A very unfortunate situation that happened, and just the whole industry lost this very special individual that published this genre-defining manga. But that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Something that's slightly different that I wanted to do for a while now. Look forward to more interesting manga videos I'm hoping to make in the future. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show some support for the channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Rich Taku, your host, and I am signing off.